Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Savvy Psychologist. I'm Dr. Ellen Hendrickson, and every week I'll help you meet life's challenges with evidence-based research, a sympathetic ear, and zero judgment. To text or not to text? In a world where 2/3 of Americans own a smartphone, the answer is usually to text, to the point that 25% of couples who live together report texting each other from different rooms in the same house. But what effect do smartphones have on our relationships? Is it an automatic left swipe, or does every smartphone case have a silver lining? This week, we'll cover how to use tech to connect and when to put down that phone. Because smartphones are a contradiction. They infinitely expand our access to the world, all while cutting us off from our immediate surroundings, as the number of viral videos of epic fails while walking with smartphone in hand can attest. And if smartphones make us unable to avoid telephone poles and food court fountains, we might assume they're wrecking our relationships as well. But the real answer might surprise you. A 2014 survey on couples and the internet from Pew Research found that 20% of respondents gave a big thumbs down to the impact of the internet on their relationship. But a whopping 74% said the effect was positive. So what gives? It turns out it's not smartphones themselves, but how we use them that determines whether tech is bringing us together or leaving us each staring into our own internet vortex on opposite sides of the bed. With that in mind, this week, here's how to use the power of the smartphone to, per the Beatles, come together, because you really got a hold on me refers to each other, not our phones. With that, here are 6 ways we can work it out. Tip number 1, bring eye contact back. Let Justin bring back sexy and Megan bring back booty. If you've ever watched your partner trail off mid-conversation to type and swipe, you know it's aggravating at best and downright offensive at worst. And no matter how strong a multitasker we think we are, the moment our eyes shift to a screen, our partner probably feels ignored or invalidated. Indeed, in a 2014 study, 89% of people reported that being ignored by friends or family in favor of technology had damaged their relationship. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's okay. So practice shifting your attention. When you're talking to your partner, or anyone for that matter, look them in the eye. Eye contact activates the entire network of our social brains, from the amygdala to the prefrontal cortex and everything in between. Plus, it holds attention, confers credibility, trust, and attraction, and even affects heart rate and skin reactivity. But eye contact isn't just compromised by staring into your phone. Researchers at Virginia Tech found that simply having a cell phone in the room, not even in your hand, makes people make less eye contact, attend less closely to one another's facial expressions, and miss subtle communication cues. So, next time your partner talks, think of what your preschool teacher taught you about crossing the street. Stop, look, and listen. Who knew your preschool teacher might also boost your relationship? Tip number 2 is set screen time boundaries. When you're together, be together. Consider designating certain activities, spaces, or times of day that are screen-free. Maybe all cell phones go in a bowl in the hallway during dinner, or Sunday evenings become a tech-free time for you and your partner to recharge together with no devices in sight. Or consider keeping the bedroom screen-free to prevent that deep dive into independent digital worlds. For parents, while a 2016 study found that most parents support the suggested 2-hour per day screen time limit for kids, very few actually role model the same at home. But to peel kids' eyes away from screens, try to walk the walk, at least while the kids are around. Tip number 3, when you're apart, cherry pick technology that helps you connect. Just like not every recipe in the cookbook will make your family flock to the table, not every app, service, or platform is conducive to connecting. So choose strategies that make you feel good and connected, whether they're purely pragmatic, like sharing Google Calendars, or purely social, like Facebook or Instagram, whatever works for you. And unless you have to, try not to use technology that connects you to others, but leaves you feeling like you come up short. Connection shouldn't mean competition or comparison. Tip number 4, know your audience. Your best friend may expect a check-in text every time she pings you on Snapchat, but your partner may prefer an actual lunchtime phone call rather than play-by-play text of your workday. And to get all meta about it, communication itself is the best way to determine how best to communicate with the people we love. Tip number 5, for substantial conversations, use technology wisely. Few of us have managed to avoid the awkwardness of a text in which something crucial is lost in translation. Sarcasm, tone, and even urgency can all fly under the radar, not to mention the havoc autocorrect can wreak. All these nuances are important, not only for accurate comprehension, but also fostering intimacy. Though autocorrect fails can produce a certain kind of intimacy, I suppose, and you can find a link to some hilarious but not suitable for work autocorrected texts in the transcript. But, surprise, there is another side. In the same 2014 Pew survey, 9% of respondents reported resolving an argument with their partners online or via text that they had been unable to put to rest in person. Indeed, stripping a charged conversation of its emotionality by communicating via text or email could allow people to express themselves more thoughtfully and productively than they might in person. And finally, tip number 6 is be nice about it. It is hard to switch off the impulse to check email or respond to a buzzing phone, especially if that expectation exists at work or in other spheres of your life. So as frustrating as it might be to compete with an iPhone for your partner's attention, it's likely to do more harm than good if anyone becomes an iPhone warden. So, make your request to limit use or change habits kind and productive, rather than shaming or punitive. Picture your preschool teacher popping up again. And this time, she says, use your words. We are most likely to make ourselves heard by authentically sharing what we need or how something makes us feel. So in this case, a gentle, "May I have your full attention?" could very well be enough to pull someone out of the smartphone vortex. If you love the show, subscribe to The Savvy Psychologist on iTunes or Stitcher, or by listening on Spotify. Or get every episode delivered straight to your inbox by signing up for the Savvy Psychologist newsletter at quickanddirtytips.com/newsletters. And of course, check us out on Facebook to find lots of archived episodes no longer available on iTunes. As always, thank you so much for listening. I am Dr. Ellen Hendriksen. Next week, we'll cover the trials and tribulations of finding oneself part of the sandwich generation. Till then, the Savvy Psychologist is strictly for informational purposes and doesn't substitute for mental health care from a licensed professional. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week for a happier, healthier mind.